Hi all, a little bit late there today, looking for glasses and things. So, do you know, the weather seems to be on full stop here. It seems to be every time I look up though, it's the same, it's grey, white. We seem to be missing out on the snow here. It's just too warm every time. We had a tiny bit of snow in the weekend, but it had gone. Not new glasses, just not the glasses I usually wear. These are my reactor lights. So if the sun comes out, you'll know because my eyes will go dark. Okay. But good morning to all. Hope you had a good weekend. I even did some blog and I took some pictures. So we'll see if we can't do a bit more blog on Alfie and myself and what goes on in my life. What are we talking about? We're talking about still competing and doubling and things like that. We're going to look at sacrificing, just a little look at sacrificing. So it's still competitive bidding, but going a little bit higher. And of course, the fact that we need to double those sacrifice bids. You know, sometimes the opponents against us know what they're doing and they know that if we double, they still get a good score, but we do need to double. That's what's important. That's what's important. We got a tip of the day coming up as well. Our usual hand evaluation hand. What are we talking about in terms of promotions? Well, we've got the. I think we're thinking about Canaries today. Canaries. So the January cruise that Will and Sylvia are doing. So do look into that. The girls are in the office waiting for your calls, as it were. And looking forward to 2022. I have to say, I'm feeling, as time goes by, feeling pretty confident with that. As more people get jabs in the arms, as a few of you said beforehand. And our special offer of the week is the teams. But don't forget, if you are a member, you get the teams as a member, free of charge. But the special offer on the teams is at half price, which is a very good offer indeed. That's £3. I think it's just £3. It's usually £6 to watch the teams, but just £3 for the non-members. Don't forget, if you're a member, you get that every week. So we do get the odd member who buys it. We then refund you the money. So let's start with hand evaluation is what I do. So this is what I leave those of you on the Friday one. Just a quick note on Friday. On Fridays, that's the members live. We are talking about the wiggle. Talking about the wiggle, or at least one no trump doubled. What happens after one no trump doubled? Okay, what happens after one no trump doubled, and what options do we have? Do we wiggle? Do we get excited? Do we get depressed? Those kind of questions. All right, so this is the hand evaluation hand. You've got your hand to look at. You've got to decide how you feel about it, whether you like it or not, and see what you think about it. And then we'll look at that again later. I don't think it's an opening hand. It's not really close to that, I hope. I guess some of you would. It's a rule of the guideline of 20, but my queen doubled. I'm not sure I would open it. That's not what I was thinking of asking you. But if some of you would open it, then obviously give that opinion. My queen doubleton, for me, it makes it look less than an opening hand to me. So I would pass this if I was opening it. I would choose to pass this hand. I'm really looking for a fit. Third in hand, I think that's reasonable. You're going to come in, but in a normal position, I would probably pass. As it happens, your partner's going to open, so we're going to see how we feel about that. And it is very nice for a two-suited overcall. I think reasonable. Notice you've got the 10, 9, and the 9. Anyway, we'll come back to that. What we generally do now is nip over to our seminars. So we're going to sort of just carry the idea of competitive bidding a bit higher. So we've been focusing on winning the part score battle, and that is fundamental. But then on the site, we've moved on now to penalty doubling. So that's what we're talking from now. And penalty doubling is a great theme, because it's something that I know a lot of people need to do a lot more. And it's been great to have some hands sent in to me. Thank you very much for those of you who have been sending in some disasters and some great hands, which is brilliant, because you're always going to have a balance of them, and you're hoping that you get at least 3-1 with victories against bad. So remember that. An expert, their usual ambition playing pairs is to double 5 times and to get one of them wrong. So if 4 of them are tops and 1 of them is a bottom, that is a good result. Does that make sense? So if you're never getting a double wrong, you're not doubling enough. And that's what I want you to be thinking about. Okay, so let's understand sacrifices. So what do I mean by that? Well, when it is your hand, so we're looking the other side. Usually when I teach sacrifices, I'm talking about the sacrificing side, the side that bids too much, as it were. But this time we're going to be the people who expect to make game. So when it is your hand and you expect to make a game contract, there are only 2 desirable results. The 2 desirable results are that you win the contract, as in your side makes the last positive bid, or you double. There is not a third option. You do not want to be passing your opponent's contract out. So either you win the contract or you double the opponent's contract. That's so important, because too often I'll see people bid confidently to 4 hearts, allow their expert opponents to bid to 4 spades or something, and leave 4 spades undoubled. When the opponents are bidding 4 spades because they expect to go down. Really important. So this is one of the hands that comes in the seminar, just a quick repeat of it, but then we'll look at some ideas about it. So this is a very simple example. East, your partner opens 1 heart. Okay, your partner opens a heart. It goes to spade overcall, and then it's your bid. And I hope that you make the normal 2 club response. So we just make a normal bid to start with. But then things get a bit faster, shall we say, because it goes 4 spades, pass, pass. Okay. So the bidding starts 1 heart from your partner, 1 spade, 2 clubs from West, 4 spades, pass, pass. Okay, so you've got an auction here, and the key element of this is straightforward. You have 13 points, and your partner has an opening hand. So I don't mind what you do, as long as you do not pass. Okay, you must not pass. Okay, it is your hand. I mean, the way I usually teach this one is I take you back to the rubber bridge, and as I say, this is the hand that I'm taking straight from the double seminar that's just moved on to the site. If you're playing rubber bridge for money, and let's say £10 100, you're vulnerable. You're expecting to make 600 points here, which is worth £60 each, because you expect to make a game contract. You have an opening hand, your partner does. If the opponents are non-vulnerable, how much do you have to take 4 spades off to get your £60 back? Okay, and of course I'm actually asking that undoubled, and that's why I want those non-doublers to understand that I'd have to take 4 spades, 12 off, which of course is impossible. But if you don't double, you get 50. That's all you get, 50p. Sorry, that's all you get, 50 points per trick if you don't double. Okay. So here we're talking about hands that we know we can make a game. If hands are 20-20, it's a very different experience, because neither side knows what's going on. Here, I know we've got 25, they've got 20. So here, it's important. Now, the reason East has probably passed is East hasn't got anything spectacular. He doesn't know what's in our hand. We might have had heart support. We might have a void somewhere. Okay, and we're going to see how the decisions are made. But the most important thing here is that West must not pass. Okay, so you would double here. I think the expression, I used to have this expression, I used to use, those of you who know the Lord of the Rings trio of movies there will remember the expression. It did work for about a year or 2 when I used to say in the seminar, you cannot pass. That's the term. You cannot pass. That's when they're crossing a bridge in some gorge. But anyway, don't worry if you've never seen the movie. Let's move on. Okay, so when it is your hand, so the vulnerability is key, and understanding scoring is key as well. Okay, vulnerability is key, and understanding the scoring. So let's show you what I mean, and let's take a little table that you don't have to know, but it's very useful to know. It really is very useful to know this table of vulnerability. Okay, so I've got the 4 vulnerabilities up on your left: love all, they are vulnerable, we are vulnerable, and game all. Okay, so I'm going to look at this from the perspective of the sacrifices. Okay, so imagine the sacrifices. Imagine you are sacrificing. At love all, the game is worth 420. Okay. And there is the table that you need to know. Don't worry if you don't know it, but it's worth getting used to it. So doubled non-vulnerable, you get 100, 300, 500. Doubling vulnerable, it's 200, then 500, then 800. Okay. Once you go above that level, it's always 300 for subsequent tricks. Okay, so how many can you go down? If you're sacrificing, you can go 2 down. If we're the game bidders, we want to take you 3 down. Does that make sense? Okay. And the crucial element of this table is the middle bit, of course, because that's where it gets different. So the average, as it were, when it's love all or game all, as we'll see, you know, you can go 2 down as sacrifices and you're okay. Look at the middle bit there. Okay. So when you are sacrificing, when you are non-vulnerable and your opponents are vulnerable, you have a huge amount of leeway. It's what's called favourable vulnerability. You can go 3 off. You don't need many points to go 3 off in contracts, believe me. So that is, take it the other way, change the vulnerability around. Again, complete contrast. If their game's only worth 420, the sacrifices can only go 1 off, because 2 off would be 500. Okay. Okay, and then of course the last one is the same as the top one. So at equal vulnerability, understanding that vulnerability is fine. But when you are vulnerable, when you're the game bidders and you're vulnerable, and your opponents are non-vulnerable, you're going to get a lot of people sacrificing against you, or you should have, because look at the leeway. That is when they are favourable, what's called favourable vulnerability. They're able to bid as much as they like quite often. Not always, believe me. We aim to take them 4 off. The other way, though, of course, it's rare that they will sacrifice. So when the vulnerability is, as long as they're looking at the vulnerability, there are people who don't. Okay. So that's understanding the table. It is worth knowing that table, because as we bid more, we do need to understand it. So competitive bidding, we were just looking at 100s and 200s and things. Once you get up to the sacrificing level, the sacrificing team are trying to give less away, fewer points away than a game. Does that make sense? So if the opponents are sacrificing here, then you would you'd need to, you know, they would be looking for 3 off, and it's non-vulnerable is when you're more likely to be sacrificing. Okay, so let's look at an auction here. So let's look at an auction. It goes 1 heart, 1 spade, 3 hearts. Now, East West are playing natural bidding, so 3 hearts is regarded in their system as 10 to 12 points. It's a normal bid. Some of you may use 2 spades for those kind of hands, but this is just natural bidding. So it goes 1 heart, 1 spade, 3 hearts, 4 spades from south. Okay, and it's West's turn to bid. And the important thing here is to understand your options. Okay. Particularly West. West is generally thinking about 3 things: bidding on, passing and doubling. It's really important to know. Now, so for me, East is showing, I would say that East West have the majority of points in this kind of situation, okay? All right. What we're going to find is one of the very, very useful uses, I'm not sure you should be doing that, but of a bit of the opponent's suit is to say, partner, we are strong and this is our hand, and it helps you understand which side of sacrificing you're on. However, there are times, I had a hand sent to me yesterday or the day before where someone had doubled the opponents perfectly reasonably. They had a void and their game came in, and I said, well, that's one of the 5 that I get wrong. Sorry, one of the 1 wrong out of 5 we get. You've got to double more and you've got to get it wrong. So how on earth do we know what to do? And I'm going to look at this very simplistically. There'll be other times when I do full seminars and things like that where we'll try and look at things more precisely, but it's a very difficult technique, and experts are quite happy to admit that, you know, they're hoping to get 65–70% of the results at the 5 level right. Okay, us, you know, mere mortals, we're looking for 50–50 probably. If you can get half of them right, you're doing okay. But it's not easy. But in simple terms, if you have distributional hands, you tend to bid on. If you've got flatter hands, you're tending to think about doubling. So with distributional hands, you tend to think about bidding on, whereas with flatter hands, you tend to double. And actually, that's generally what a double means, okay? I'm going to bid on. I don't mind 5 clubs here, but the only problem for me is I would feel that because we're at the 5 level already, 5 clubs might suggest a slam, and I don't believe that I want to be trying for a slam. So I would probably bid 5 hearts here because I don't think I want to suggest a slam. So that's crucial here. So 5 clubs isn't so much like a fit bid. So some of you have chosen maybe to bid 5 clubs thinking, yep, show my second suit. Interestingly, if the auction goes 1 heart, 1 spade, 3 hearts, 3 spades, 4 clubs is definitely what I would bid. Okay, whereas in this auction I'd be tempted just to bid 5 hearts because I do not think that my partner should be going to a slam. So this pair are playing 3 hearts as a natural bid. So that is simply showing partner an invitational bid to game. Okay. All right, so distributional, sorry, I've just knocked the desk there, and I'm going to bid on. So with distributional hands, I'm going to bid on. Okay. And with flatter hands, I'm tending to double. So quite often these flatter hands will have more points. So here we've got the same auction. So very often the flatter hands will have more points, but more points does not necessarily mean you want to be bidding on. Okay, the flatter you are, the more you're tending towards doubling. So here, I would tend to double. You have got another opportunity, a pass, which tends to be a mixture of 2 things. So maybe a sort of a hand between 5–5 and a flat hand. Okay, so you tend to have more in defence, and because you haven't got a singleton, you'll often find, although you've got more points, you'll make fewer tricks. Okay, and that's crucial. So here I would double because I'm balanced. So in very simple terms, balanced hands are doubling, and distributional hands tend to bid on. The losing trick count can help because obviously the more distributional hands will want to bid on. Okay, will have fewer losers. Okay. So here with the flatter hand you double. So let's just put this at the table. I'm going to show you 2 hands and just show you what I mean. Okay. There is an in-between bid, the pass, if it's a forcing bid, and we'll look at that another time. I'm not going to look at that. That's taking us to another level, and we will look at perhaps those ideas at another time. So let's just show you what we mean and show you why there's a difference in potential. So what you're going to find is that hands with fewer points but more distribution are more likely to be able to make 5 hearts than actually a flatter hand. So let's look at the auction here. We saw the auction. I'm not going to go through it. I'm just showing you the hand. But the auction went 1 heart, 1 spade, 3 hearts. So it was a natural bid by East. He just bid 3 hearts. Some of you may bid differently, but I quite like 3 hearts from East. I love South's 4 spades, but all I've put up these 4 hands because I wanted to show you what happens. So this is the one where we went on to 5 hearts. And how many tricks do you think you're going to make in 5 hearts? Well, the nice thing is, because you've got a lovely big fit, you can pretty much count your losers. And if you look between the 2 hands, you've got 1 diamond loser and 1 spade loser. So you would expect to make 5 hearts. 4 spades is going off, of course. Don't get me wrong, you'll be happy to take 4 spades doubled 2 off. But look at the comparison, because 5 hearts is making, you make 450 from your 5 hearts, but only 300. So it's a good sacrifice from north-south. So if we double, we're happy to get it off, but we're not happy that we haven't got our money back. Okay, and the money, those of you who count losers, of course, that West Ham was a 5 loser hand. So once you've got support from your partner, you're pretty excited. Okay, so it's interesting. Fewer points. The next hand I'll show you is that 15-16 point hand. We had West will have fewer points, but actually less likely to make the contract. So this is good bidding from north-south. They've bid to 4 spades. Of course, we've talked about this before at various times, and I will many other times as well, bidding to the level of their fit. They've got 10 spades, so they bid straight to it and put the pressure on West. Put the pressure on West. Okay. So the other hand, as I say, 16 points this time, the West hand. West has got 16 points. Okay. You got a doubleton spade. It turns out your partner's got a singleton. But what's interesting is on the auction you can sort of guess your partner's got a singleton because you're expecting your opponents to have 5-5. It's been a spade overcall and a jump to 4 spades. And if your partner's got a singleton, you have fewer high card points. So the East hand is another good 3 heart bid here. Okay. So 6 losers, so there is 1 fewer losers, and we will look. It's a good idea, a good topic to look at, losing trick out at some point. So more points, but more losers. No, I'm supposed, yeah, more. Is that right? Yes, more losers, more points and more losers. And that's interesting. And what you'll find with balanced hands is that you may not make as many tricks. So more points, but fewer tricks. So what do you expect to make? Well, it doesn't really matter whether your opponents lead diamonds or do anything. They don't need a diamond rough. You're always going to lose 2 diamond tricks here. Okay, so even if they choose, I don't think they will lead diamonds. It'll be the ace of spades lead, I would have thought. But if they led the ace of diamonds and took a diamond rough, that would be 3 tricks for them. Double dummy, I suppose they could lead the ace of diamonds, diamond rough, spade, diamond rough. But that would be cheating, I think, because I think that would be a very, very unusual thing. So let's have a look. So let's see what would happen. And what's interesting is that North-South get very close to making their contract. But we feel that the weight of our points, I've got 16 points. So there will be times that they make this contract. And you've just got to take that into account, unfortunately. It's one of those things. You know, North could have a void in hearts. I suppose there will be times. But what you're saying to your partner is, partner, I'm strong and balanced here. I can't see us making at the 5-11. And surely most of the time we've got a lot more points than them. Most of the time they're not going to make. So let's double, lead a trump, and hopefully they can't make quite enough tricks. So here, if we manage to lead trumps, even if they did have a void, we would hope that they could only make 8 trumps and the ace of diamonds here. And that's what they're going to do here. They will make 8 trump tricks and the ace of diamonds. Or, put more simply, we'll take the first 4 tricks. The ace and king of hearts and the ace and king of clubs. So not great, but making plus 100 is better than minus 50. So don't forget, your opponents have done really well here. They have taken away our beautiful game contract, which most of the time is going to make. As I say, double dummy, in theory, you can go off in your 4-heart contract, because if they can see, and so just to repeat that, double dummy means if you can see all the hands. So the ace of diamonds is not a normal lead from the north hand. Okay, it would be a very unusual lead, and I would not expect anybody to make it. But the term double dummy means if you could see all the cards. Well, if North could see all the cards and knew his partner had a singleton, he would lead the ace, give his partner a ruff, his partner would lead a spade to his ace, and he would give his partner a second ruff. But that's double dummy. It's not going to happen at the table most of the time. If it does happen at the table, you should be relatively suspicious of your opponents, or hopefully get tops against them most of the time, because if they make a lead like that, you'll usually get a good score. So the key here is that the balanced hand with more points is not making so many tricks. Okay, so in 5 hearts, you're likely to lose 2 diamond tricks anyway. So if you have to play the suit yourself, even if you know where the diamonds are, you're still going to lose 2 diamond tricks. Okay, so 5 hearts is going to go off, and you hate going off when you know it's your hand. Okay, so we know it's our hand, so we want to do the best we can. Really tricky. It is really tricky to judge. And as I say, if you get 70%, if you get close to 70-75%, so if you get 3 out of 4 right, it is brilliant. And the 4 and 5 level is, the 5 level particularly, really difficult to judge. And as we're seeing, the part score level, 2, 3 and 4 level are difficult to judge. What we're looking at is to bid more, to work out when we're right and wrong, and in the long run, try to look back at the hands that you make judgments. And if you've got it right, be happy, but understand why. If you get it wrong, just try to learn from it. Okay, don't worry if you give away 800 or 1100 or some 790 or 990 or 1190. That's 4 spades doubled making, 4 spades double +1 and 4 spades double +2. Okay, they're vulnerable, of course. Okay, so you can see I know those scores, and the reason I know the scores is because I've done them. I have doubled people in 4 spades doubled and they've made. Not so often do they make 2 over tricks, but I have had the score of -1190. These things happen. In theory, the score of -1190 for 4 spades doubled +2 is better than them making 6 spades, which would be 1430. But those are the nuances of the score, and I don't usually claim that's the reason I've doubled them. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's come back. So that is not an easy topic. I've only touched on it because we're talking about competitive hands. The main thing, the main aspect of this whole month is, remember, double annulae. Okay, we are doubling more. Okay, we are doubling more. Okay, and I want you to get it wrong this month. This month, you have my permission to tell your partner, look, we've got to double more and we've got to get it wrong. And if we do not get a bad score from doubling this month, we are bad. Okay, I'm going with David there. He's gone for January, so it's X annuary. I like that. Okay, so January or double annuary. Okay, so I want everybody to have at least one calamity with a double this month. Okay, because that tells me at least you're trying, and obviously I then want you to carry on. Okay, so let's have fun with doubling and push ourselves a little. Remember though, I do want you to just have a little chat with your partner beforehand, saying, look, or if you're a single and you're playing with lots of partners, just make a little note, this is my doubling month. Okay, all right, just so they know beforehand. Okay, I like January, that's not bad either, January. Okay, so we double February, I'll think about that one, we'll see. Okay, so let's go back to the Q+1. Okay, so this is the when we were trying to evaluate this hand. So, do you know, I think if I had ace 10-9 in both suits, I might open the hand, but to me, again, remember, when I'm evaluating a hand for an opening bid, this is not going to be an opening bid, I will say that, okay? But if I am evaluating it for an opening hand, Oh, I've forgotten what I'm doing here. I use the guideline of 20. Sorry, that's what I was on. The guideline of 20 and not the rule of 20. And that's so crucial. So for me here, if I was thinking of opening the bidding vulnerable, I would feel the Queen of Spades is a downside, and I would tend to think, I'm not sure this is an opening hand. Okay, it has got 2 aces though, so you know I'm not going to punish you if you open it. Okay, if you were the 3rd player to bid though, I would certainly be making an opening bid. Okay, and that's another topic for another time. Let's start the bidding and see what happens. Okay, so it goes a club first. And what we're going to try and do is talk ourselves through the hand and how we feel about the hand as the bidding progresses. Okay, so how are you feeling about your hand now? So I think we're going to, I'm less good. I like a few of you saying you're feeling less good. I like that because suddenly the main worry you have with hands like this is misfits. And clearly if your partner bids your shortest suit, that's the start of the possibility of a misfit if he then bids spades. So in my mind, I'm thinking if he brings up spades in a moment, I'm not going to be a happy chappy. However, my plan is generally to bid 2 suits, so I would bid 1 heart first. So if I had 4 hearts and 4 diamonds, I would respond 1 diamond, bidding up the line. But with 5 and 5, I want to bid hearts first because it's important for me to try to explain I've got 5 to my partner. Okay, let's see what happens. And now you can see what the theme of the hand is. So your partner has now bid 1 spade. Okay, so it's gone 1 club, 1 heart, 1 spade. What do you think? So here, if two diamonds was a natural option, you might choose it, but for most people it will be the 4th suit forcing. And I think the key on this hand is, although the Queen of Spades feels a little bit better now, is that we are going to devalue the hand. So in traditional point count terms, you'd be thinking 2 no trumps here. But when you have a misfit, stay low. Okay, and so quite a few people, I think 1 no trump is probably the right bid with this hand. Sometimes it'll turn out your partner has a lovely fitting cards in one of your suits, but more often than not, I mean, let's open all the hands here. More often than not, your partner's going to be putting a hand down like that. Okay, it turns out your partner has got a lovely holding in diamonds for you. The diamonds don't break so well. So 1 no trump is a negative bid, and it would usually show about 7 to 9 points. But when you are a misfit, downgrade. These are the kind of hands that people finish in not just 2 no trumps, but 3 no trumps. Okay, and the problem is they can be really horrible to play. Okay, they really can be. I mean, sometimes you get a really nice surprise. West, for example, some Wests might lead the 10 of diamonds, okay, because it's the unbid suit. I wouldn't do, I'm not that keen, but if West led the 10 of diamonds, things would be looking much perkier for you. But even with that lead, you may well still not make 3 no trumps. Okay, but on the 10 of clubs lead, which looks the better lead from my point of view for West, I think East can overtake and switch to spades. Okay. All right. Okay. So really, it's all about misfits and trying to make the most you can. Here, you'll try and establish your diamonds. I think you might scrape home in 1 no trump here. You'd hope to make 3 diamond tricks and 4 other top tricks. If the opponents get it exactly right, they might be able to stop you. But I think making more than 1 no trump is tricky. So this is all about misfits. And this is what I mean by hand evaluation through the hand. Yes, the hand's worth 10 points, and I've got an ace 10 9 of hearts. I'm feeling reasonable about it. But as soon as I hear my partner bid the 2 short suits I've got, I'm starting to think my 2 5-card suits are less likely to be worth anything. So for example, ace 10 9 to 5 hearts, I quite like that holding. By the time I've got to look at dummy, I don't like it. You know, so that's a big difference. So it's funny, it's one of these hands where your best fit is the unbid suit, and it turns out that you'd love to be in a way you'd want to be in 2 diamonds on, or in a diamond contract, but we can't quite find it. Okay, so I suppose you could say those of you who play completely natural bidding, those of you who play completely natural bidding, you know, could have bid 2 diamonds as your wee bid and you'd finish there, kind of thing. But, you know, I don't recommend that because you're not going to get enough hands like this. Okay, so that was the hand evaluation one. Just a quick recap on what's happening on the site. So the holidays, you can all look at the holidays, of course. And all of our holidays are available to anybody. So it's not members' holidays, these aren't. I might do one members' holiday in the next, in the coming time, but they're all open. So the cruises that we're doing on the Balmoral, so that is both bridge cruises and cruises with the little bridge, as you'll find out, as I'll explain, are available to all. So, we will be looking at that. Those of you thinking about redoubling, we're going to look at wriggling. That's on Friday. So I'm doing that on the members site. You can always join us if you wish. You pay a little fee for the Fridays. But we're doing wriggles on the Fridays. So we got wriggles part 1 and then wriggles part 2. And it's all about what we do. Yep, so we're hoping that we may well have a founder's holiday or a members holiday and that kind of thing, but at the moment all the holidays we're promoting are for everybody. And that's what we're planning to be, BMB, and we're looking forward to it. I have to say, I am working towards promoting the UK events as well, and hopefully holidays abroad. So we are getting there, but as you can imagine, a lot of these hotels are taking their time simply because they don't want to have to organise everything again and then simply unorganise it again. And I think we're, you know, so we are really hopeful, and certainly in Europe there is a firm belief that we'll get to a more comfortable place once we've got through summer. On the cruises, of course, we're working with Fred Olsen. And although you can join some cruises this year, with a little bridge, we are doing our bridge cruises from 2022 onwards. So come and see those. Let's look at our tip, because I mustn't forget that. So the PowerPoint, we've got a little tip, don't we? Have our tip of the day. So let's look at that. So we're looking for simpler tips, and that's what we're usually doing. And as Pam says there, she's got, I think we've got 2 charity events that you can look for. We've got the 20th and the 25th, and you can see those on our site and on the Facebook and on the forum. We've got all details of those. So on the 20th and the 25th we've got, and we will, as I say, if anybody else has got any charity events, I'm very happy to promote those. So do contact Pam Willis there if you want information on hers, and Suzanne if you want the one on the 20th. So bid your longest suit first. There's a simple tip of the day. Bid your longest suit first. Okay, bid your longest suit first. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is sometimes people are tempted to bid a suit, a shorter suit, because the suits are in the wrong order. So let me give you an example here. Let's look at this hand. So it's very simple. I know it's a very simple tip, and this is what the tips are generally for, is our novice tip of the week, as it were. Bid your longest suit. I get some people who pick up a hand like this and get worried about their rebid. And yes, in many ways you should be worried about your rebid. You make a plan, but unfortunately with this hand, if you open a diamond, you are probably, if it goes 1 spade, I am going to bid 2 diamonds. Okay, so 1 diamond, and then I'm going to have to, over 1 spade, rebid 2 diamonds. But I get people who open a heart thinking, well, if I bid a heart, I can then rebid 2 diamonds. However, the problem with that is you promise 5 hearts, and partner will take that very seriously. So don't worry about the strength, but also the length. So generally, please just open your longest suit. And the beauty of that is its simplicity. Okay, it's the simplicity of it. Now, funnily enough, when you look at the hands on the screen like this, it can be sometimes difficult because kings are much wider than eights. So the hearts are starting to look a very similar length to the diamonds because the letters are wider than the numbers. And if I put a 10 in there, sometimes it can even end up longer. But with cards in your hand, clearly diamonds are longer than hearts. And I want you to open a diamond. Our bidding system is not perfect, but we try to have a relatively simple one. So this is opening a bid. Generally, when responding, you're still doing the same, except when you're very, very weak and you can't go to the 2 levels. So that is true. Okay. So there is the odd example where if you know you haven't got enough money to bid. So for example, if you can't open the bidding, you're not bidding at all. So when you're responding, if you haven't got enough points to bid, sometimes you have to break the rule. It's true, James. But generally, I want you to focus on your longest suit. Okay, so if it went 1 diamond, then you follow up with 2 hearts. That is what is called a reverse bid. It's called a reverse bid. Now, I know some of you will have been taught that reverses don't exist. Unfortunately, the rest of the world do play them, and it's a very important part of bidding. There is one person who does teach that reverses don't exist, but in normal bridge, if you open 1 diamond and then bid above 2 diamonds, so 1 diamond, 1 spade, 2 hearts, you are showing a strong hand. So I can't afford to bid 2 hearts. So instead, I've got to bid 1 diamond and follow it up with 2 diamonds. Notice that if my partner has spades and hearts, he can then bid hearts later. Okay. Obviously, this is pessimistic. If your partner responded a heart to your 1 diamond, you'd be happy. And if your partner responded 2 clubs to 1 diamond, you'd be happy. You can raise those bids. Okay. Okay, so that's the little tip. And as I say, the tip is meant to be a simple novice design tip. So, and if we can pick those rules, we're going to try and do that. We are, for those of you who are more novice-y minded, we are going to be having in about, I think it's 6 weeks' time, is it? Yeah, 6 weeks' time, we're going to start a novice bidding quiz as well as the normal bidding quizzes. So we will be having a novice bidding quiz, and that will be on the website, I'm afraid, on the members site, but we will be bringing in more like that. Okay, our prize winner this week was Richard Hook. Richard Hook. So well done to Richard Hook. I'm going to see if I can dig some cards out here, Richard. We've got the ace 2 3 4 here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Richard will be playing in the end of February match. We've got our team's match for January. February is a bit shorter, of course. So well done, Richard. I'm going to pick a card. That is the one. It's number 4. Okay. So you are in my team, but you're playing East-West at the other table. So well done, Richard. I will send you an email over the next couple of days to congratulate you for that. We have a bidding quiz to come, and then I'll say goodbye. So let's get that bidding quiz up. Here it is. I'm leaving you with this bidding quiz. It's 1 no trump from your left-hand opponent, double from your partner, 2 clubs from right-hand opponent. So 1 no trump from north, double from your partner, 2 clubs. Okay. So 1 no trump from north, double, 2 clubs, and it's your bid. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget, come and see us on the website. Whether you're a member or not, do come and remember we're there. Come and see the holidays. See the answer to the bidding quiz on the website. You don't have to be a member to see that. You can just log in And do come and watch the teams if you want. We've got that on a special offer for the non-members, and the members, of course, don't forget that's included. We are going to be sending you links to get onto the various lives this week, so to make it easier, to make sure things are a little bit smoother, because we're trying to get those things right as we develop the site. So enjoy your week. Let's hope that we can have some fun. I will tell you that the last couple of weeks we've had some nice hand with the teams. We've had some good fun. So assuming that I choose the same wine or something like that, we'll probably have good hands this week. So it would be lovely if you could join me. Okay, let's say goodbye, and I'm going to go and make lunch for Alfie.